Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul Singing, where I help singers like you and me too obtain physical, emotional, and spiritual freedom in our voices. And today is a little different. I'm not exactly talking about the voice today, but we're going to be talking about, am I guess saying this correctly? Tinnitus, right? Tinnitus.
Some say tinnitus, some tinnitus, I don't know. So today we will be speaking about tinnitus. So we are
Yeah.
nice.
And I felt called to do this interview because I'm in a rock and roll band, and my best friend in the whole world, Ben, he has tinnitus and he's had it for 20 years. And, singers are musicians, and so many of us musicians and singers have tinnitus. And also, I talk a lot about muscle tension dysphonia on this channel. And oftentimes, muscle tension dysphonia, is a mind body disease and can only really be cured holistically through the body and the mind, which sometimes means that we have what's called TMS syndrome, which I think you are Peter. You use the TMS model to cure your tinnitus, and I've also used the TMS model as a part to cure my muscle tension dysphonia. And
Mhm.
TMS just means tension myositis syndrome. And everybody, this is Peter from the Czech Republic, and he reached out to me. He has I think you said a top-selling book on Amazon right now on how you've cured your tinnitus.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so I'll let you take the stage and please let us know all about it. I'm very curious.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope this will help some musicians
Mhm.
because, as you said, a lot of musicians had tinnitus.
Yes.
And because for musicians, like ears are like weak point or not weak point, but it is very used muscle and body part,
Hmm.
then it can be somehow damaged or not damaged, but it can have some malfunction. So tinnitus is very common between actors and musicians.
Yeah, ears, nose, and throat. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
connected.
yeah.
Mhm.
And speaking about Howard Schubiner, um, I I discovered him just few months ago, and I was amazed that his approach to cure chronic pain is the same approach I took during my chronic tinnitus cure.
Mm.
It's very similar. There are a lot of similarities, and I think the root cause is the same or very similar, and also the like cure approach is very similar.
Mm.
And maybe I will like introduce myself a little bit. I had tinnitus after loud concert. It was Cypress Hill.
Oh wow. Yeah, my best friend also, that's what happened to him. So he like really believes that he damaged his ears from being next to a
Okay.
loudspeaker. Yeah.
Fortunately, he can damage his ear, but ear damage is not cause of the tinnitus.
Right.
So I will explain it later. And I had tinnitus for almost 4 years. uh, I never give up on anything, so I tried maybe 30 doctors, everything like Western medicine, Eastern medicine, Ayurveda. I don't know. What do you imagine? I tried. I traveled across the Europe trying to find some approaches. And after 3 years of suffering, I discovered the neurological approach of tinnitus. Uh, it was like invented by Dr. Pavel Yastrebov from University of Yale. And from that point, I immediately know that this is the root cause of my tinnitus. And then I need to somehow change how my brain works. And then I started to study brain, how it works, and how it can work like healthily.
Yeah.
Because Pavel Yastrebov, there was another research, like it is quite old research on medical students, and they were asked to go to soundproof room, and they said them, okay, we will play you some sounds, go there, and you will tell us what did you hear. And 90% of these healthy students came out of this soundproof room. I said I heard whistling in ears, I heard like ringing in ears, I heard some strange noises, and 90% of students heard something,
Mhm.
but they didn't like play them anything.
Oh, so you're saying like healthy students went into a soundproof room and still heard noises or maybe
Yeah,
tinnitus, like a ringing?
yeah, they heard tinnitus,
Yeah.
but it was very subtle, very low.
Okay.
And Pavel Yastrebov started to explore why, if everybody hears or almost everybody hears tinnitus, why for somebody you didn't even know that you heard it, and for some it is like life-changing, like crushing experience. And he find out that in some cases or circumstances, our brain is increasing these like natural noises in our ears. And it can be like when you are afraid of this noise, if it is important for your brain, etc. Because it is an ancient mechanism of our brain to amplify everything what is dangerous for us or what is important. For example, if you are in the some pub or restaurant and someone say Peter, you don't even know that because you will be talking to someone else and your brain will like switch off the sound. But when someone will say Jen, you will immediately turn your head because Jen is important sound for your brain is know it, and it will amplify it or
Mm.
put it to your conscious mind.
Mm.
And this is what is like our brain doing with chronic tinnitus. One important thing is that I'm talking now about chronic tinnitus without objective reason. It means you went to NT specialist, you went to neurologist, and they said your ears are okay, your like brain is okay, you don't have any infection, no tumor or something like that. But like 99.9% people with chronic tinnitus, they have no other problems,
Mm.
just this tinnitus. Other things are okay.
Yeah. Even though you said, like maybe you thought that going to that concert created your tinnitus, because that often seems to be a theme too in chronic pain. Like we think that had something has happened, like an
It was
injury.
it was trigger, but it was not the cause.
Yeah. Triggered. Okay.
Yeah. So let's and also this like healing process was the reverse of like getting tinnitus process. And getting tinnitus process, from my point of view and my experience or 10 years experience working with like hundreds of other tinnitus sufferers, is that uh, imagine like barrel of gun, and you putting this gunpowder to this barrel of gun as you live by stress, by bad food or junk food, but unhealthy relationships, and you are putting this like powder there, and then you go to the concert, and this concert is like spark, and
Mm.
it blows,
Right.
and this is how the night starts.
Mm.
If you have this barrel of gun empty that you like like your life is like without stress or with normal stress. You have healthy relationships, you eat healthy foods. Then you go to concert and the sparks go, and it didn't blow up. It just, you will have so-called disco tinnitus, and it remains all maximum 3 days,
Mm.
mostly one day or one night, and next day you woke up and you have no like ringing in ears.
Yeah.
So your barrel of gun is empty. You can go to concert, and your tinnitus won't go to chronic phase, but still you can damage your ears. But this is different story. So, for example, I now go to concert or to cinema, and I wear earplugs, not because of tinnitus, but because my ears can be damaged.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I have a MTD, and I
Mhm.
had a lot of trauma growing up, so it was the perfect storm. And then I developed this condition, and also I also had a fear that I would develop a condition. So my mind was already like extra amplifying this area, waiting. It was almost like I was waiting for it to happen and sort of manifested it into reality. Uh,
Yeah, because when you are afraid of something, it
yeah.
got tense.
Mm-hmm.
It got tense. There is less oxygen as it should be, and less like vitamins, minerals, etc. And then it gets sick.
Yeah.
So it is like conditions this way, and it is
Yeah.
also how it
It's
should be
all.
like out.
Yeah, it's also, I think, personality type. I've noticed a lot of like you were saying, you went to every doctor. Like I did the same thing. It seems like we're type A personality. They say this in
Mhm.
the chronic pain world. There's a personality type to it. Um, and I personally am an anxious person, and I worry a lot, and I am also a perfectionist, and I, win a lot of awards, and I'm the best, and like put a lot of pressure on myself. And I think it's also created chronic pain because of the way I am personality wise. Whereas my best friend is the opposite, and she never has any voice problems, even though she's singing way more than I am, because she just her personality is different. So I find that interesting.
I would say personality is one thing, and second thing is like, as you said, childhood trauma.
Mhm.
Because if you are traumatized and or you have unresolved trauma, your body is tense all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not just psychology. You have different like hormones in your bloodstream. So you have elevated cortisol, adrenaline, these stress hormones, and these stress hormones like are tensing muscles,
Mhm.
and then your body work differently.
Yeah.
So in my case also, I had to unresolve or resolve some traumas from childhood to like get completely really from tinnitus.
Mm.
I started with easy things. First, my first life changer, it was when I uh, discovered the way how can I measure my tinnitus every day. So I was able to measure tinnitus like every day with simple MP3 player. And I saw if my tinnitus is stronger or lower than the day before.
Mhm.
And then I start journaling with my tinnitus diary. And I start to change my diet. And I saw that my tinnitus is going down. When I
Oh.
when I stop eating junk food, fried food, drinking sodas, avoiding sugar, avoiding alcohol, and avoiding processed foods and chemistry in the foods, artificial sweeteners, artificial colors. And when I like avoid this, my tinnitus went immediately down. It didn't go to zero, but for example, from 17, it went to 12.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this progress, and I saw, okay, I have some control about my tinnitus. But it
Yeah.
was not like this. It was more like this.
Mm.
It was like going down.
Yeah.
So I started with food, and I continued with physiotherapy, with body posture.
Mm-hmm.
And then I continued with my work, with my stress, and with my relationships.
Yeah. And you mentioned journaling, like journaling about your feelings. Is that what you mean?
It was just journaling was just about what I ate day before, who did I meet,
Mm-hmm.
what sport I did, or what movement I did, and if I had some meeting or some special like thing what I don't do every day.
Oh, I see. So keeping track of like your health and seeing how it correlates with the tinnitus.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And for example, by this journaling, every 2 weeks, I like circled the like high tinnitus days, and we're trying to find connections.
Mm.
And it took me 9 months, but even after 2 weeks, I was able to see that. For example, bananas was increasing my tinnitus, chocolate was increasing my tinnitus, any
Oh,
junk, any fried food. So I stopped eating them, and after like 1 month, my tinnitus was from 17 to 12, and it was a huge difference.
wow. That's great. I'm eating very clean right now, but I go in and out of it, and I think I'm going to take that advice because I still do. It's not chronic anymore, but I still will get bouts of pain on my right side that will just get really tight. I'm going to try that next.
Yeah, because you can eat clean, but if
Mhm.
you have some emotional connection with some food,
Yes, yeah.
then it can make a stress. For example, in my family, everybody has the walnut allergy
Hmm.
because my grandmom, she made a lot of like walnut cakes,
Hmm.
but she was also very, how to say it, directive, and they were afraid of her.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So walnuts are connected with her, like, I don't know, rough behavior.
Mm.
And when you eat walnuts, there is a connection in brain says, okay, we are in danger now.
Oh, wow.
So this is how allergies are starting also.
Okay. Yeah. So the brain is just associating it as dangerous from past trauma with the food.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
exactly. For example, if you are witness of yellow cap, like killing somebody when you are in childhood, then
Hmm.
when you are adult and this yellow cap will cross you, your stress hormones are elevated.
Oh, that's so fascinating. Because I'm a recovered bulimic and anorexic,
Mhm.
and I struggle a lot with. I find foods unsafe. So
Yeah.
gluten, dairy, corn, soy, processed food, and sugar I find unsafe. And as soon
Hmm.
as I start eating it, I have IBS.
Yeah.
And I notice my boyfriend eats whatever he wants, but he's a healthy man. But
Hmm.
he is fine and healthy and no IBS. And I started thinking lately, I'm like, what is this? I feel like there's an energy here as well. It's not just the food. I know I'm supposed to eat healthy, but like I think there's something in my mind, also at the way I'm thinking about this food that I can't handle it. I think it's dirty or wrong or bad. It's going to make me fat and unlovable or whatever, or have cancer or whatever. And so that's really awesome to hear you say that because I just haven't made that connection. My holistic doctor said I was reactive to these foods, sensitive, but now
Hmm.
I'm curious, is it because of my mind that I'm sensitive to these foods? I don't know.
Definitely there will be a connection.
Yeah.
And it is not only about how do you think about this, but how do you feel about these foods. It,
Yes,
it
feel.
is unconscious mechanism, not conscious.
Mm.
And yeah, your body is afraid or could be afraid of certain foods. Sometimes you can have really like allergy or intolerance on something because you don't have enzymes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that though, so.
For example, in Japan, they eat a lot of these seaweeds,
Mhm.
but they have enzymes because they eat it from like their childhood.
Mm.
But for us, it's not so healthy because we don't have these enzymes.
Okay. Yeah.
So sometimes it's like culture, and sometimes I could say there are some foods which will increase your tinnitus or trigger a nervous system, would say. And this is junk food, fried food,
Yeah.
sweets, sugar. Sugar is like number one, like
Mhm.
nervous system triggering substance. And when you stop eating this, it will help you with tinnitus symptoms, definitely.
Mm.
But then there are some substances which are very injurious for you. And this is where the journaling comes into place.
What did you say? Enjoyable for you?
No, no, no. Some substances are like for everyone, like that you will stop eating them, you will get better from, for
Okay.
example, tinnitus point of view. But some are very individual.
Oh, I see. So that's why the journaling helps. You can really kind of see when you have more intense symptoms.
Yeah,
Oh, it might be that food or this food. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So, and when I fixed my food, it was quite easy. I think it take only 1 month or 2 months or something. Uh, then I started to look out on the situations and people. And I found out that, for example, when I speak with my mom, my tinnitus is next day like very high.
Mm.
But I didn't know why. So I go to psychotherapy and I started to speak about it with psychotherapist. And then we find out some things about why it is very stressful to speak with my mom. And
Hmm.
like it hurts.
Yeah.
But before I didn't even realize that it hurts. I didn't realize it was stressful. So I think it was like normal conversation. But my tinnitus was saying something different.
Yeah. Your body was still expressing the stress
Yeah,
in a way that you couldn't express it by talking about it or crying or
yeah.
talking
Because
to your
I didn't
mom.
feel it, just my body like was increasing tinnitus, and I knew that okay, there is something wrong if I speak with my mother, and every time my tinnitus is stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll put this in the description. There's a podcast called The Cure for Chronic Pain, and they do what's called journal speak, and you journal every day, and like thousands and thousands of people, you get out that you just get it out through journaling, and then your
Mhm.
chronic pain starts to come down because the body is not having to express it for you anymore. You are expressing it, and so the body can stop expressing it for you, which is really
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
but it is quite easy even for medical specialists because when you really stress or when your stress hormones come down, your muscles are not so tense.
Right. Yeah.
And when your muscles are not so tense, your pain is going away.
Hmm.
It's like quite simple mechanism,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's hard to find out the way how to put down stress, especially when you are traumatized.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you are traumatized, and again, it is like approached by Dr. Peter Levine or Steve Porges or Bessel van den Kolk, they say it is also my experience. Then when you are traumatized, your body want to solve this trauma, and you are making very similar situations in your life
Mm.
which you experienced during trauma.
Yeah, to try to resolve it, right? You like replay the trauma.
Replay it, and by replaying to find the resolution.
Yeah. And they even say sometimes we have chronic pain because the body feels like it's safer to have that pain instead of dealing with the trauma. That is actually more unsafe. So some people prefer to be in the chronic pain subconsciously. The body thinks it's safer to be that way.
For example, if you suppress emotions, because I would say I would tell about my personal like story, and it can explain to viewers. After these few sessions of psychotherapy, this psychotherapist recommend me one book, and she said there is similar story that yours. And I read that story, and I start to cry, and I start to cry after 18 years of not crying a single tear,
Mm,
because in our like family, boys don't cry.
right. Yeah.
So I didn't cry 18 years. And after I was reading this story, I was like um, crying for 4 hours in a row. And when I go home by the car after these 4 hours of crying, I still heard tinnitus, but it didn't bother me for the first time after 3 and something years.
Wow. What is the book called, if you don't mind?
It's a Czech book. It is
Okay.
somehow Stars and Soul, something like
Stars
that.
and Soul. Okay. I'll try to find
No.
it and put it in the description.
Okay, but you can read, for example, Anita Murjani.
Mm.
You can read Pablo Coelho.
Yeah. How
You
about
can read Dan Millman.
mhm.
Because this, I think this book was not like translated to English.
Okay. Yeah, after send me an email if you don't mind after with the books and
Okay,
I'll throw
yeah,
them in the
okay.
description for everybody.
All these inspirational like stories can
Hmm.
help you to connect with your like inner something, inner trauma or inner pain or something like that.
Yeah, inner child. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you were saying you had the tinnitus still, but it didn't feel painful anymore.
yeah, it didn't bother me, and it lasts only few hours.
Mm.
After a few hours, it start to bother me again. But what I realized that if I have so much unresolved items in my body, so much suppressed emotions, I cannot be healthy.
Hmm.
And at that time, what I did was like switching from like finding think about tinnitus, about all these terrible stories, all these desperate stories, and I started to find only tinnitus success stories, nothing else. And I
Mm.
found some.
Yeah.
And I started to started to discovering what they did that they have like this tinnitus like relief.
Hmm.
And then I found Pavel Yastrebov. Then I start with tinnitus retraining therapy. Then I start with this daily tinnitus measuring, with journaling. And when I saw that my tinnitus is going down, I was also calmed down because I knew that okay, it's going down, and it can if it went from 70 to 12, it can go to 0.
Hmm.
I just need to find what is inside me and how to solve it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And also, I must say that my life is much, much better.
Mm.
So it was the inner process. And from outside, what it took, I sold my company,
Mm.
I got divorced.
Hmm.
At that time, I had quite supercar, so I sold it. And also, I work in the bank as director of big uh, department, and I quit the job
Hmm.
because all the things were very stressful for me.
Yeah. So you eliminated a lot of stressors in your life and sort of
Yeah,
reworked your life so you could feel relaxed and maybe living your authentic truth, just more
relax and
happy.
happy, relax and happy.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I found out that I'm making or doing this career to like have a love from my parents, which I didn't feel all my childhood.
Mm.
And during psychotherapy, I found out that even if I'm doing these things, I still don't feel their love. So it's absolutely for nothing.
Mm.
And yeah, so during psychotherapy, I find out that I'm doing a lot of things, not for my joy, but mostly for joy of my parents.
Yeah.
And it is very stressful for me. And then I start to do things for my joy, not for others. And I'm still learning this until now. It's just like, even I don't hear tinnitus maybe 7 years or something. I'm still on my way because when I doing this and I'm like I'm my real me more and more, I feel happier and happier. And I
Mm.
was not happier in my life never as I'm today.
Mm.
For example, a lot of people say it was great when I was a child, it was great, but not mine. I'm happy
Mm.
now, not in my
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you don't hear any tinnitus anymore? Does it ever come up in times of stress or anything like that?
It came maybe 2 times.
Mm.
One after I met with my ex-wife for a few hours. Then I heard tinnitus maybe 3 days. And second after second vaccination, I heard tinnitus maybe 6 days, but it
Mm.
go out
Oh,
or
good.
after 6 days. So fortunately, it didn't last.
Oh, great. And were you afraid when it came back? Like, do you have a fear of it?
I was,
Yeah.
especially after vaccination, I was afraid because for first 3 days I was okay, but fourth, fifth day I was okay. It is taking too long time
Yeah.
happening, and nobody knows what is like this vaccine is new and etc. So I was afraid, yeah. But
Mm.
after 6 days, it stopped, and I was happy again.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
I will just put this with.
Yeah. So is that everything? Is that the whole story of how you've healed from tinnitus?
Uh, yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is quite simple. When you, the first thing for me was important to find out that it is not problem in ears
Hmm.
because everybody is trying to fix ears, but there is no
Yeah.
problem. Hence, you cannot fix.
Yeah, it's not an injury. Yeah, I often tell people with this, like, you need to stop thinking you're injuring your voice because you're feeding this sort of loop to your
Yeah,
brain that you're
yeah,
injured and then it tightens more and then you're afraid and then it tightens more to protect you and it's just this loop. So you have to stop thinking, you need to start thinking of it in a different way, that it's a
yeah.
neurological issue, actually. Yeah.
Exactly when you said this is a loop, I'm calling this vicious cycle. That you are afraid of tinnitus, your brain will amplify it. It is amplified, you are even more afraid, it is again amplified, and it is amplified. Then I heard tinnitus even when the train was passing by. So always, non-stop.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid of this tinnitus, and my brain amplified as much as it was possible.
Yeah, and for people to heal from MTD, you have to sing. You actually have to do the thing that you think is going to injure you. You have to retrain your voice. So it's like fascinating. You actually have to feel safe and tell your body, I can actually do this activity and not injure myself because I need to retrain, or otherwise I'm just going to continue speaking wrong or whatever. So yeah, it seems like the science is to make your body feel safe with being in situations or just with the pain itself. And also for me, it's been like leaning into the sensation and like spending time with it. And like maybe it's not pain, but yeah, you said it's tension. And it took me a long time to realize, oh, this is tension. It's not fibromyalgia or muscle tension dysphonia. It's actually my body just squeezing itself because
Yeah.
I'm anxious. Yeah, so
I do
hope,
know
yeah.
why your body is squeezing yourself in the stress.
Yes.
Do you know why?
Um, I feel because I'm scared and I see the world as a dangerous place. I've had to do a lot of work. I think
Okay.
that's why.
When you are in dangerous place, why your body is tense? What is the reason?
Um, is my body like bracing itself for impact? I don't know.
Yeah,
To protect.
it's actually because in the we have few ancient mechanism in ourselves from
Mm.
like really like prehistoric era. And for example, when you were fighting, these stress hormones were released. Your muscles were tense, and also your veins were dilated.
Yeah, dilate or yeah, dilate.
Dilate is like this.
Yeah, or
Dilated.
contract. Yeah.
Yeah, contracts. Yeah, because when you are fighting and you were hurt, and when your vessels are and it was dilated, there was bigger change than you will survive
Right. It's
because
because
the
my,
bleeding
yeah.
was not so big.
Yeah, it's my body's in fight or flight. It can't tell the difference between a bear and me singing a song. It's like the lizard brain is just like, oh, we're gonna get attacked right now, so everything gets
Yeah, we
tights
are in danger. We
tightens
are
up.
in danger.
Yeah, so like safety, even like reprogramming my mind to think of the world as a beautiful place and I love myself and I can keep myself safe and, stop people pleasing and stop pressuring myself and, just becoming my own mother has really helped my body and stop doing and going and doing everything for everyone has created. I'm still working on it like everybody else, but just feeling more safe and like and actually knowing what's going on with me, that I'm not sick and I'm not broken, but I'm actually very powerful, and just to understand that about my
Yeah.
body. Yeah.
For this tense release, there are two methods which help me a lot, and I recommend it for everyone with tinnitus. And first one is somatic experiencing
Mm.
by Dr. Peter Levin. It was like developed for NASA, this the guys which go to the space.
Yeah,
And
astronauts.
astronauts, they came back traumatized.
Uh-huh.
So this was developed for astronauts. This somatic experiencing. It is like releasing trauma from your body.
Hmm.
And second is EMDR.
Oh, the rapid eye movement
Uh,
therapy.
it is, I don't know if rapid. It is,
It's kind of like back and forth, back and forth.
yeah. It don't need to be rapid,
Okay.
but yeah, it is like eye movement
Yeah.
because, for example, when you are focused on one thing, your body again release stress hormones. Because in the nature, before, when you were looking at one point, it means that there is a predator and you are trying to like save your life.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to look around, for example, to the trees, or when you read in a book, but not book in the cell phone, because it's the one point, but normal book, then these stress hormones go down
Right.
and you start to be relaxed.
Mm.
And when you like do this thing like eye movement during therapy, then you are able to find a root cause of these unresolved pains and traumas.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my students who has MTD just told me he was doing the EMDR therapy to help with this, and it's helping. Would you say tinnitus is tension?
From some point of view, yes, because there is a muscle near the eardrum, and when you are in distress, when you are in stress, all the muscles get contracted.
Oh, okay.
And imagine the eardrum here, and there is this muscle. Stress hormones are released. This muscle contracts, and the drum is bigger.
Oh,
And this, I don't know how to say it.
like eardrum or I don't know.
Yeah, eardrum is like more tense. And when you have normal drum and you stretch it, it is louder,
Mm-hmm.
also higher frequencies.
Mm. Oh, fascinating.
So you have some natural sound in your ear. When you are in stress, your drum is like stretched,
Mm.
and the sound is amplified and in higher frequencies.
Oh, wow.
So this is also one of the mechanisms how the tinnitus is amplified.
Mm.
And this is because when you are in stress, you need to hear every like
Yes.
breaking branch in the forest because
Mm.
there can be predator, and you need your like senses needs to be sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. For somatic tracking, what like for me when I hear somatic tracking, does that mean, like dancing and movement and like say
Mhm.
yoga or exercise or nature walking or even like going through your body and sort of feeling all the sensations? Is
Yeah.
that somatic tracking?
I was talking about somatic experiencing,
Yeah. What can you
but
explain
somatic,
that?
yeah, somatic experiencing is uh, stress is not a problem. When you have some predator and you fight or flight and you survive, everything's okay because you use this energy for fight or flight,
Mm,
and it's okay.
right.
But when you go to freeze, there is a problem,
Mm,
and you like this energy which was supposed to be used for running or fighting, it's conserved in yourself.
right.
And somatic experiencing is method because imagine you are astronaut in a spaceship and you are really in the spaceship, you cannot move, you have all this belt on yourself, and then the rocket start and your body say we are dying, run away, run away, run away, but you cannot run away,
Mm,
and you are in the freeze state, and all this energy is inside of you. And somatic experiencing is a method how to release this energy.
okay.
Sometimes it is released by yawing,
Yawning,
yawning, yeah. Sometimes by shiver,
shivering, yeah.
yeah. But it is not like very dynamic. It is more subtle.
So maybe even like shaking. You could like shake,
Yeah, but subtle shaking, like
subtle shake.
your like inner body shaking, not your
Mm.
like outside muscles.
Oh, okay. I guess this is kind of new. I do the yawning to try to, yeah, go into a more relaxed, what is it, parasympathetic state. So I know the yawning. And like for shaking, do you like make yourself shake?
I had a period when I did it.
Mm,
Not now. Maybe because my traumas are solved,
yeah.
these very hard ones, and maybe I'm now using this EMDR, and this EMDR for me is now about like deep understanding of thing. And for example, mm, during how to say that, I tried a lot of like psychological processes to like solve these traumas.
Mm-hmm.
For example, not feeling being loved by my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried a lot of them, maybe third. I try to solve some situation maybe 30 times in my
Yeah.
life. And it somehow helped me at the time, but it didn't last forever.
Hmm.
And with EMDR, there is one difference that I see this situation from a totally new point of view.
Mm.
And I can see it only because I am able to contain the pain which is connected with this situation.
Mm.
Before, the pain was so strong that I stopped here on some mental level and I was not able to go deep. Now
Right.
with EMDR, I go deeper and it is very, very painful, but then it is resolved.
Mm. So it allows you to go deeper and maybe feel more like safe in doing so,
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah.
Because, for example, when you go in the process to your trauma, you can be very easily go to freeze
Yeah. Right.
or re-traumatized. But with EMDR, even if I'm going to the freeze, I'm still like looking around and I'm sending signal to my body that everything is okay. We are in
Mm.
safe place and I can go deeper.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you're using sort of your body to do it and sending signals of safety instead of trying to convince your mind, oh, I'm safe now by
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
these. And I guess yawning is that way too. It's a way to activate the relaxed response.
Yeah, could
And
be.
yeah, I've never really shaked myself, but my friend experiences shaking, so I've seen it, and it just seems to happen. She doesn't
Yeah.
like do it. So it's very fascinating. Yeah.
So our body has like all these like self healing mechanisms.
Hmm.
But for example, if you are in accident and you go to hospital and you start shaking, a lot of things, a lot of people after, for example, car accident start to shake, and it's a very healing process. But what they will do, they will give you some drugs to
Mm.
stop shaking, and
Yeah.
they stop this healing process. It's like when you eat something wrong, then you throw it out.
Hmm.
You don't take pills to not throwing out because it's bad for your body. You need to get it out. And same with trauma. If there is this stuck energy, it needs to go out somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we're in a culture that is so afraid of pain that we avoid it at all cost. But
Yeah.
then you can't heal because you have to go through the fire to get to the other side is kind of where I'm at with it.
As per research, there is 70%, 80% of people with some kind of trauma
Hmm.
in population. But in the wildlife animals, the trauma is very, very, very rare.
Mm.
It's almost not exist in wildlife because they don't suppress these
Suppress, yeah.
healing mechanisms.
Mm. Yeah, I guess it's just about getting back to your wild self, your wild, authentic self, and being really honest and vulnerable and brave. And I suppose that's the road that I'm on. And
Yeah,
just getting to really know myself and know my pain, and also not fearing my pain and not fearing the darkness, and just going there and even befriending it and becoming a friend with my trauma. And it's just been very helpful for I'm a recovered addict and someone who stuffs everything away, and
mhm,
then to not do that anymore. I have access to more pain, but it's not chronic, and I also have access to more joy. Um,
yeah,
so access to more emotions, and to know that emotions won't kill us. They're actually what makes us feel alive and well to feel.
yeah. There is one or two important things, or it was in my case. First, I had very empathetic therapist,
What is it? Empathetic what?
psychotherapist.
Oh, empathetic therapist. Yeah.
Yeah, therapist.
Mm.
And after like maybe 2 months, I start to feel with her very, very safe. And when you feel safe, your body will do all these things naturally. You don't need any help. You just need to go to safe place. And I was lucky enough that my therapist give me this safe place.
Mm.
And second thing, when you were speaking about like that you need to sing,
Mm-hmm.
also with tinnitus, you need to go outside, meet people, not to be isolated. Very important is to do it like in small steps,
Mm-hmm.
because when you are afraid and you will put it full gas, you will hurt yourself, and then you are afraid even more.
Yeah.
When you do a little stress or little step, and then you hurt yourself a little bit, but you see that you didn't hurt yourself for 1 year, but just for a few minutes, then you can add another step, another step, another step. So very, very, very small steps are the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And just keep proving to yourself that you are safe through those small
Yeah.
steps.
That everything is okay. If
Yeah.
even if you are doing these steps, you don't like damaging yourself.
Yeah. 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 I think one of my jobs as a vocal coach is to help my students feel safe to vocalize. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just is very complicated and beautiful. Even to, yeah, to just accept your human voice, uh, that it's beautiful and not ugly and damaged. And yeah.
Yeah, and it could like mm, I'm scientist, and this could sound very unscientific, but I agree with Einstein on this.
Mhm.
He was talking about love, that love is the strongest force in the universe.
Mhm.
And I think that only healing power is love.
Mm.
I don't mean like romantic love from Hollywood movies. I mean that you are with someone and this person take you as you are, and you create like very safe space. And in this safe space, the healing is making its like own way automatically.
Mm. I agree with that for sure. I think underneath it all there is love,
Yeah,
universal love.
yeah.
Yeah, we just get caught up in all the fear and everything, but that's what's underneath it all. And I agree.
So maybe healing equals finding say a safe space.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, in my healing, I had to fire many doctors because they made me feel unsafe or would tell me information like I am damaged or I was 27. They said I was too old and my voice was just too old. And I said, "You're fired." And then I like looked for doctors who knew my name, looked into
Mhm,
my eyes, said, "There's nothing wrong with you." Like I had
mhm,
like my physical therapist. Like he did, I'm pretty sure what healed me was not the chiropractic work. It
mhm.
was him making me feel safe and
Yeah.
loved and like I would be okay. He always said I'd be fine. And I noticed this when he was absent for a day and he had another man come in to work on me. And the
Mhm,
other man looked at me and he was sweating and he said, "Oh, your condition is awful. I don't know how I'm going to help you." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's it. This doctor is actually just giving me love." And
mhm.
that's, and after 6 months with him, I was eating 20 cough drops a day. I stopped the cough drops. I haven't gone back to the chiropractor since. And I know, so I actively seek out empathetic healers who empower me. And I think that is like one of the biggest pieces is that loving, safe uh, energy.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody to do this. If someone like is saying you that he can help you, or there is no cure or something, go to another one.
Yes, that's what I always say too. Yep.
Because there is a help, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone freaks you out, it will worse your condition. But
Yes.
when someone, you said, like, this is all for all, like, listeners, what you describe with this first chiropractic, this is the real healing process.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, like doctors try to tell me I have fibromyalgia, which is just a condition where they don't know what's wrong with you. It's just nerve pain. So they'll give you a bunch of drugs. And I would instantly fire anyone who tries to diagnose me with fibromyalgia or even I try to be careful about this as a diagnosis with my neck because it's disempowering. And it just like it gives you an answer, right? And the answer is so black and white, and it could be a death sentence, in my opinion. So I'd say, no, I don't have fibromyalgia. I actually I'm very emotional. I've gone through a lot of trauma and I feel unsafe. And I need to be around people who make me feel safe. And I need, to be around nature, and I need to sing, and I need to dance, and I need to express myself and live my authentic truth. And I need community, and that's where I go with it. So I stay away from a lot of Western medicine because the model is you're sick, you're broken, and
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all. So
The Western medicine is very good in acute. When
yeah,
you
I
broke
agree.
your leg, you have some tumor which needs to be like cut off.
Yeah.
It is very good, but for chronic conditions, Western medicine is somehow worse.
Yeah, it keeps you in the chronic state. It doesn't understand the healing of chronic pain. It just keeps you.
And important thing, if there is someone who listen us and have the
Yeah, fibromyalgia.
fibromyalgia,
Mm.
even for that is a cure or there is a solution. For example, when you will study Dr. Bessem van der Kolk, he's like trauma specialist, that he found out that all people with this fibromyalgia has a traumatic like experience.
Yes.
And when it is fixed, fibromyalgia is okay.
Yes, I intuitively knew that about myself because I could feel my fibromyalgia was my emotional response to the world. I felt afraid, and my body was expressing like fear, and even like my IBS, like my stomach issue. I just fear that I'm so afraid. I feel so scared. So in my MTD, all of my stuff is really just trauma and fear, and so I think
And
medication would not help me in any way to resolve that
it
personally.
can help short term, but not long term.
Correct, yeah. And there's always, if someone, I have friends with schizophrenia or bipolar, and certain
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals can really help. So I would say it depends. But it's not like you have to take for fibromyalgia all these medicines for the rest of your life. That's just sort of suppressing the trauma or ignoring the real issue. Um,
Yeah, you need to find the root cause and then
yeah.
unwind it like step by step. Like
Mhm.
stop this vicious cycle, or as you call it, loop.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, pain loop or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Well,
have very similar experiences. That's great.
yeah, I feel like all chronic pain sufferers have very similar, or I've noticed like we all have very similar experiences because it's all one and the same, really. Just happens in different areas of the body for different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has some weak point.
Yes. Yeah, and for me it was my voice because it's my most precious area as a professional voice user. Um, that's where I focus all my energy. It's my voice, and it's in my
Yeah.
shoulders and face. And I still have tension issues, and I think it's about even moving more into my authentic truth and stopping the pressure on constantly gigging and creating records and like being successful. Like I
Yeah.
now I'm getting a feeling like I just want to stop. Like I just want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy
Yeah.
my art. I don't want to exploit it anymore and, feel like there's a wound in me that's like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to fix that, but like I'm just feeling very stressed all the time. So, um, yeah, so I just continue down the path, and that for me, the healing never ends, and it's a beautiful journey.
There is one more thing I would like to say, especially for men, because when women start to speak about emotions, it's kind of strange for us
Mhm.
because emotions are something in the air, nobody can catch it or something.
Mhm.
But emotions are hormonal states of our body. It's not like emotions are not psychological, it's physical. When you
Mm.
have somebody, some hormones elevated, then you feel somehow. When you have some, for example, stress hormones elevated, you feel anxiety, tension, pain, tinnitus.
Mm.
When you have oxytocin, then you are relaxed, you are calm, you are like happy or something like that.
Yeah.
Emotions are not like something in the air. Emotions are really like hormonal states of our body, and we can do something about it.
Mhm.
So this was for men,
Yeah. Yeah.
but for women as well.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, it's been like cold showers are helping a lot with like the physical relaxation of the body and getting less cortisol running through my body, which seems to be a learned state as well. Yeah, cold showers, deep
Cold
breathing,
showers are
meditation.
great. I can recommend it.
Yeah, they can be like kind of frustrating or uncomfortable at first, but it can really calm you down. So
And do you also have this like Zen state after cold shower?
yeah, or I'll jump into a lake like and I'll get out and then I'll be freezing and then all of a sudden I'm not cold anymore. I just feel like so relieved and relaxed. Yeah, Zen state, like a high.
Okay, and this is a very important thing again for everybody because if you take a cold shower and then you go to the bed and you feel this beautiful state of being, this is normal state. This
Mm,
is how we can feel every day, most of the days.
hmm.
And when I started to have cold showers based on Wim Hof,
Yeah, he's the best.
yeah, I lay down every time after the cold shower 20 minutes in the bed and I just feel great. It's
Mm,
not like I was super happy, I was just calm and everything was fine.
yeah.
And then I started to read the news and I was immediately like take out from this state.
Mm,
So I stopped reading the news because
yeah.
what I'm trying to do is to like make this bigger and bigger
Yes.
and longer because I know how it can feel. And now I'm feeling this maybe 4 hours a day.
Mm,
Good healthy sun exposure, working out outside, being with my dog, reading books. So I'm doing all these things to go to the stage because I don't want to take 10 cold showers a day.
right, yeah. Yeah, so just fine. Yeah, for me it's like yeah, nature walks, cold showers, working
Yeah,
out, yoga, meditation. That's a great point. I'm gonna focus more on that. It's like I know so well like what my pain feels like, and I know
yeah,
so much about anxiety and depression. And but like I would love to become the expert of that Zen, calm state and just really lean into that, amplify that more into my life. So I'm gonna take that advice and get off my phone at night. I've been doing this doom scrolling where I'm on TikTok and I'm just TikToking it and I would like to read my book. So I'm gonna try to do that tonight
yeah.
and
Remember when you are looking at the cell phone, you are looking at one point
mm,
and you sending your body there is a predator.
Hmm.
Be in very uh, bad state of being.
Yeah,
And
and it also disconnects you from yourself. It's like a way to
yeah,
numb yourself out, to not be
yeah,
connected, and to be just thinking about too many things, overstimulating yourself.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, but this is an amazing chat. I feel like I've learned so much today, and I really appreciate this talk, Peter, and thank you so much for reaching out. I know we were trying to make this happen forever. I'm so glad we finally.
It was great for me because I think that you know most of I said already.
Most of what?
Most of
Oh,
what I said you knew already. So
yeah, it was just like helpful hearing it from you, and I just gained new perspective. And I think everything happens for a reason. I just really needed to hear it. So I feel very, and you're also very calming and loving. I can really feel safe with you
thank you.
and good with you. So you have a very beautiful energy.
Okay, thank you very much. That may be the good light.
Yeah, it's your heart. So thank you
Okay,
so
Jen,
much,
it was
Peter.
very nice. Thank you too. And
Yeah.
we stay in touch. And thank you all for watching this.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and have a beautiful day and talk soon.
Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.